Right, hello boys and girls. This, if you like, is a video response from my mate Ninja Nelly, who basically was curious as to how vinyl graphics are done. The sort of things like where there's text, pretty pictures and all the rest of it. So I thought I'd have a quick whiz through and show him, and everyone actually, how it's done. So, first things first, as you can see on the screen, I've got the boss filming today. Of all things, because obviously you own a Triumph, as do 3/4 of the world at the moment, I thought I'd do the nice little Triumph logo for you. So what we do is I generate the image, or it could be just text, on my graphics software, as you see. And once I've done all the necessary resizing, colour and all the rest of it, I'm left obviously with the image that I want to either print out, if it's going to be in sticker form, things like that, or more than likely it's going to be in vinyl, as in your Idiot Collective stickers that you all got handed out at the Ace. So we've got the image ready. Size wise, it's going to be a little bit smaller than that Triumph at the end of the day. Okay, so what we do is we finish with this software, which, as I say, is the graphic software, and is a plug-in now, an add-on if you like, another separate piece of software that I've got that I send that over to. Alright, this will go over there, and it is that actual software that will do the cutting. So what we do is then we just export that over. Just bear with me. There's the image. What we do is then, if I just basically ask the machine to cut that, it will cut it basically straight through the machine. I don't want that to happen. I want it to cut across. So that's where, for example, this pretty little logo comes in there, and that tells you the orientation of the work. So that tells me that that Triumph sign there, or logo, will be cut through the machine from front to back. Sorry, left to right, not front to back. So what we do is, if we're happy with all that, there's no tags. By tags I mean no little loose bits kicking around, because otherwise, if there's anything on there or any like faults on the font itself, it will actually cut that out. So it'll cut out the image you see there, because if I go to what they call wireframe, which is that, if there's any or abnormalities or whatever you want to call it on the actual image, the cutter will find it, and you'll find that the cutter will basically start cutting out your work, but then out of the blue it'll hop across and just do this crazy little circle, and what it's done is like a dust speck, it's cut it out, and you don't want that. So you check for it there to make sure basically all is well. If you're happy with that, you then go back to the image itself. In this case, as I say, I want it cut the other way if you like, so I turn it 90 degrees, as you can see. Then I can click on the cut, I can go to preview, and that shows me a giant or a big version of our logo, and I can even animate it. I can show, it'll show me how the machine is going to cut it out. Can you see that? Does it show that?
Yeah.
Obviously I can even adjust the speed that it plays it back. So I can see to make sure that it only does one single cut, because in some cases if you don't get it right it'll do a triple cut, or maybe just a double cut, which is bad, because that basically goes through, and if nothing else it doesn't just cut the vinyl, it cuts the backing paper, and that will blunt the blade. So we're at the point where we're ready to cut, and what I do is now I will press the famous cut out button on there, and my little mate here, fingers crossed, will fire up and cut it out. Okie doke. Right away. For all intents and purposes, when you look at that, it looks as though nothing is happening. But take my word for it, fingers crossed it is cutting. But the actual blade, I know I shouldn't be talking over the row of the machine, but I'll explain when it's actually done the cut. And that, boys and girls, cut out. Like that. That's how much time it takes. So, what we do is now, as I was saying about if the settings on the machine are wrong, it's pretty precise. If the settings on the machine are wrong, what you can find is, for example, if you're cutting big graphics, you can speed up the machine no end, and it'll be like lightning. The cut is basically like a blur. It will fly around, because this one will cut up to 2 foot wide. 2 foot wide vinyl, that is. But if you're doing small intricate work, especially, say for example the eagle's head, okay, something like that, small intricate work, you slow the cutter right down. But it still does it fairly quick. It'll do something like that eagle's head in about 2 minutes. And then of course you've got the downforce on the cutter, so it's got to be an exact science. It's a real balance of things. If you get all that wrong, you can cut right through the backing paper, and like I said, if nothing else, you just shorten the life of the cutter, because the blade itself, try and imagine the actual tip of the blade sticks through or comes out of the holder. You adjust it so it's half the thickness of a credit card. Any less and it won't cut, any more and you're just basically hacking through backing paper as well, and you're shortening the life of the blade. So there's a lot to it. So anyway, we've done that bit. So fingers crossed now we'll come across the boss and we will do the next section, which is known as weeding. Yeah, some may have heard of weed, and I'm not talking Bill and Ben, the flower pot men and all the rest of it. I'm talking about what's got to happen now is, in order for us to get our image, we've got to weed out the excess vinyl. In other words, the stuff we can't see. I don't know if the camera can pick that up. No? Slurp. So what we do is I get my weeding tool, which is here. I need to change my glasses because I'm a blind bat. I need to put my bigger specs on, and hopefully, I don't know if you can see it, but the Triumph logo is there. And what we do now is we actually weed it. We pull it back, and hopefully you take away all the excess. All goes well. Got to go very careful at this point. Very careful. You just pull it away. Like so. But the eagle-eyed of you will have spotted, well, that's not quite right. There's something wrong with the A and the P. Quite right. You mustn't forget to take out the centres, which is easily done. That's all. You take them out like that, and then you try and pick it back off your fingers. Okay. And there, for all intents and purposes, is your Triumph logo, your sticker. So what we do is now, gotta be honest, I'm doing this a bit backwards, but I normally cut them out and then weed them, but for this I'm just rattling it through it for everyone's benefit. And what we do is we take off the rest of the border, as you can see, like so, because we don't need that. Okay, we got that?
Yeah.
Alright. Okay, now if this was customers' work, especially commercial work, which all happens next door, and I'm not taking you in there because that's all hush hush. Don't look at me like that. What we do then is we just trim it down, first of all, like so. And some of you might say, well, I can see now at what point he is. And what we do is we get some transferring tape, they call it. What you should do first off, I must point out, is by right you should, especially if it's for a customer, you should scan it with a magnifying glass or even a jeweler's loop and make sure that there are no tags and everything basically mirrors what you've got on the screen, because obviously you can either check that one or indeed you can go back to the Triumph logo. Alright, in this case it's fine. I didn't really foresee any problems. So what we'll do now is we get some magical tape. Just peel this off like so. Stick it on the top. Okay, like that. Push it down so there's no air bubbles. Just work that on like that. Like so. You all with me? What I do then is just trim off the excess. That's all. Okay. Like so. And then what you're left with is more or less those of you that were up the Ace and had Idiot Collective stickers handed out to you by Dell and Penny. You'd have basically been handed more or less something like that. I should imagine. I haven't actually seen one in the flesh, but I should imagine it was something like that. And then of course all that's left to do is, when you get these sent to you, whatever, just peel off the backing paper. It has done its job. You just position it then wherever you want it. Put it there, for example. Again, make sure it's stuck on nice and firmly. And then the key, where everyone or most people tend to go wrong, is when you peel off the actual carrier paper, they call this. What was the name I was trying to think of? Carrier paper. The key with this is to keep it as flat as possible to itself. Roll it back. Don't pull it off at 90 degrees. If you're lucky it'll work. 9 times out of 10 you'll lift some of the decal and then it's just a nightmare. You'll make a pig's ear of it and in the end you just pull your head up, screw it up and throw it all in the bin. So roll it back more or less on itself at more or less a 45-degree angle. And there, boys and girls, is your Triumph decal. You can always rub it with your finger or soft cloth. Do not use a burnisher because that will basically pucker it all up. And I said pucker it all up.
You sure?
And there we have it. So, hopefully that's taken out some of the mystery, because some people think it's all done with smoke and mirrors. There's a lot more to it. I've got to be honest, there's a hell of a lot more to it than what I've shown you. I've just tried to keep it pretty simple, pretty basic. If you're going to do this, all I can suggest is get yourself some good graphic software. The one I use there, by the way, that is actually a free download on the web. You can actually download that for nothing, but I've got about 3 different programs actually to choose from. And apart from that, you've got to buy, I don't think there's any free, you've got to buy cutting software, and it's nearly always shipped anyway with the machines anyway. So that's what you need. You need good graphic design software that's got the plug-in capability for the cutting or plotting software. Okay?
Yep.
So hopefully that's about it. Hopefully little Mr. Nelly, that takes away a lot of the mystery. Hope you enjoyed it, considering it was Triumph. I don't even ride a Triumph. No. But I do ride a Honda. Not a CBR. I don't ride a Gixxer. But look, any questions, any comments, leave them below. Subscribe, rate, comment, usual bump. Oh, by the way, at some point or other, I will be producing stickers. And if you want a sneak preview of what they'll look like, they're going to be more or less that.
Cool.
So, somewhere along the line, because a lot of the motor vloggers do them, and if they want them, then basically they send me a stamp addressed envelope, I'll send one out. But I've got to be honest, I'm not going to go down that road until I actually get into the proper vlogging bit, which hopefully I want to try and do. I don't want to rant at people and such like.
Can't wait.
Okie doke. So until next time, take care, ride safe, and I'll see you on the next one.